Welcome to Lot 76 Cars and the Waldron Classic Car Show. First car up today is a 1962 Jaguar Mark II 3.8 litre. This 220 brake horsepower saloon was capable of shifting from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 8.5 seconds and could reach a top speed of 125 miles an hour. No wonder it was the favourite of bank robbers of the period. It was produced right the way from 1959 to 1967, being discontinued in favour of the 240 and 340 variants, which eventually gave way to the XJ. Reaction to our next car, the Jaguar XK120 at the 1948 London Motor Show, persuaded Jaguar founder Sir William Lyons to start production. It was in fact the fastest production car at the time upon its debut. The 120 in its name referring to its top speed. This 1953 3.4 litre example was manufactured in Coventry by Jaguar between 1948 and 1954. Often referred to as the Daimler Dart, this in actual fact is the SP250. Produced only from 1959 to 1964, this glass fibre bodied 2.5 litre V8 sports car was the last vehicle to be produced by Daimler before its parent company BSA sold it to Jaguar Cars in 1960. Ironically, the same year this vehicle was produced. Our next vehicle is the Alfa GTV Spider from May 2001 with the 1970cc twin spark engine. It was built on the Tipo Type 2 platform, which underpinned a number of Fiat vehicles at the time, including the Lancia Delta, the Fiat Tipo and also the Fiat Coupe. Dating from 1967 is this Triumph TR4A. It superseded the Triumph TR4 and was fitted with independent rear suspension. Again, it was designed by the Italian designer Giovanni Michelotti, like many Triumph vehicles of the period. This particular vehicle is in superb order, probably a concourse winning car. The interior is a beautiful combination of leather and wood and a really nice thick-rimmed 3-spoke steering wheel, complete with a luggage rack. This particular VW Type 2 Transporter from 1974 may well be the one that's taken you on your last journey. Yes, in fact, it's a hearse. It's certainly a bit of a change from the traditional black hearses that we have in the UK. On a more cheerful note, we can meet the collection of VW Beetles. The third vehicle along, the orange one, to me is the most interesting. This is a particularly standard car, but in fact it's in absolutely superb order. In brilliant orange from August 1972, this is a local Southampton car that cost its owner a princely £899 from new, but they did actually succeed in getting a discount of £29. It's actually in immaculate order inside and out, and with the original purchase invoice, it truly has a history to be proud of. Next, a shout out to the Senlac Austin Owners Club, who put on an absolutely superb display at the show with a range of vehicles covering a number of periods pre and post war. One of the standout vehicles in the display is the 1937 Austin 7 Open Tourer 4-seater. This vehicle, registration EBH240, is a 747cc straight 4 water-cooled side valve petrol engine with a single Zenith carburettor, giving, wait for it, 17 brake horsepower and a top speed of 48 to 52 miles an hour, but with 40 to 45 miles per gallon. From January 1967 is the Ford Mustang. This is a facelifted version, and this version benefited from changed front and rear styling, which was much more pronounced, and in actual fact the interior benefits from a twin cove instrument panel which offered a thicker crash pad and larger gauges. Next up from the Roots group is this 1966 Humber Sceptre Mark II, a luxury car based on the Hillman Superminx but featuring a unique roof, glass and upper rear bodywork section not shared with the Superminx. It's fitted with a carburettor version of the 1725cc engine. As a development of the original Porsche 924, this is a Porsche 944S, the S standing for Super. This vehicle dates from April 1993 and features the 3-litre 211 horsepower engine. It must be a pretty late car as production ceased not long after this. The interior is a beautiful mix of period trim and the obligatory checkered fabric inserts. This striking orange Plymouth Roadrunner, a true so-called muscle car produced from 1971 to 1974, fitted with up to 7 engine options from a weedy 5.2 litre to a 7.2 litre monster. It benefits from a beautiful cream interior and, as you can see, the advice to the driver to floor it. With around 70 brake horsepower, this Capri 1600 Laser from June 1984 offers a slightly different driving experience. With a 1600cc Pinto engine, this was probably one of the last vehicles available, as the production run for the Capri finally finished in 1986. I can't imagine there'll be too many Dodge Polaras in the UK. This vehicle, produced from 1960 to 1973, references the Polaris star in its name, a marketing attempt to appeal to the space race generation of the early 60s. This particular vehicle dates from 1964 as in absolutely superb order. And yet another Mustang, this time from 1967, is a 5.7 litre facelifted model with an overall more muscular look and the option of big block engines for the first time. This particular vehicle is also in pretty good order, and the beautiful blue paintwork complements the combination two-tone blue interior trim. Starting with these striking rear fins is this 1962 Cadillac Coupe Series 62. It's a 6.4 litre V8 and in absolutely incredible condition. This vehicle benefited from a huge array of standard features, some of which were very advanced for its time. For instance, 6-way power seats, a self-seeking radio with foot control, automatic high beam control, and even fog lamps. This really was a car that was massively ahead of its time. At the other end of the scale in terms of size is this 1980 Mini Mark I recreation, fitted with period bonnet straps, wheel arch extensions and 10-inch wheels, but also with period correct bucket seats and interior. And this driver of this vehicle also has a pretty good sense of humour. Back to the late 1950s brings us this turquoise and cream 3-litre Austin Healey 3000 from 1959. Produced from 1959 to 1967, this is a rare early car and a product of the joint venture between the British Motor Corporation and Donald Healey's own sports car company. This is a 1950 Chevrolet 4.6 litre rat rod. The bodywork doesn't look in such good condition, but the driver actually looks even worse. Staying in the USA a little bit longer brings us to the Chevrolet Thriftmaster 3100 series pickup that GM produced from 1947 right the way through to the early 1950s. Again, this one is in really superb order inside and out. Next along is the Harris-Mann designed Triumph TR7, which was manufactured from 1974 right the way through to 1981. This particular vehicle is a Triton green metallic convertible, the convertible body style being introduced in 1980. The model has the distinction of being produced in 3 plants, initially Speak in Liverpool, then Canley in Coventry, and finally in Solihull before it finally ceased production. From December 1989 is this Mark I Golf Cabriolet 1.8. The Mark I Cabriolet actually overlapped with the introduction of the second generation hatch. Another British Leyland car of the 70s is this Triumph GT6 Mark III from August 1974. It's a Spitfire based 6-cylinder coupe with 112 mph top speed and 0 to 60 in around 10 seconds. It was comfortably ahead of its nearest competitor, the MGB GT of the time. Next up is an absolute hot hatch legend of the early 1980s. This Coventry registered Talbot Sunbeam Lotus was a pretty fast car in its day, fitted with a 2.1 litre Lotus engine producing 150 brake horsepower in road trim. It was lightweight, rear-wheel drive and had a fantastic international rally career with drivers such as Tony Pond, and even had a starring role in Greater Manchester Police's unmarked pursuit vehicle fleet of the time. This vehicle benefits from a renewed interior, and the owner has even managed to have the cloth seats remade in the original trim material. The final car of part 1 is the 1979 Fiat 131 Racing, sold in the UK as the Fiat Mirafiori and produced in the plant of the same name near Turin. I'm not sure whether this vehicle has competed on the Lombard RAC Rally, as the decals seem to indicate, but certainly looking at how the way the vehicle is prepared, both inside and out, it feels if it could be coming to a rally special stage near you anytime soon. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and share, and join me for part 2.